It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the First News newspaper. The major story here says, historic hearing, Trump arrested, arraigned over criminal charges. Historic hearing, Trump arrested, arraigned over criminal charges. Pleads not guilty to 34 criminal counts stemming from hush money paid porn star. Released after 2 hours in New York court, sets record as first U.S. ex-president to face criminal charges. All the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. To the Nigerian News Direct, alleged treason charge, FCT LP fight over Peter Obi's leaked audio conversation. Federal government, Labour Party fight over Peter Obi's leaked audio conversation. Labour Party debunks allegations, says Obi law-abiding peaceful. I never discussed or encouraged anyone to undermine Nigeria, Obi reacts. I neither confirmed nor admitted leaked conversation, spokesperson. You find all the details of the story on the front page of the Nigeria News Direct. To this Nigerian newspaper, still talking about the same story, alleged treason, Mohammed Obi at each other's throat. You find you've committed treason, says federal government. Your claims are malicious, fictitious. Ex-Anambra governor replies, minister. And to the front page of the Blueprint newspaper, federal government to Obi, you're inciting citizens committing treason, says Labour Party candidate lacks criteria to be declared president. Accusing me of insurrection, false, malicious, P2B reacting. We recover stolen mandate in Southeast. APC is reacting there. NCC denies tracking, leaking Obi's phone calls with Oyedepo. Mike.
All right, I have Daily Trust in here, and it says 2023 polls, federal government accuses Obi Dati of treason. Right? Federal government accuses Obi Dati of treason. Accusation malicious, fictitious. The Labour Party presidential candidate is saying this, and our CSOs caution government politicians against provocative utterances. The interim government be on the alert, reps tell security agencies. This is what you see on the front page of a Daily Trust. Leadership newspaper. Leadership says 54 days to inauguration. Tinubu headhunts best brains, competence for appointments. 54 days to inauguration, Tinubu headhunts best brains, competence for appointments. These are the stories, or that is a story, the main story on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. Business Day is next. Petrol price post, a subsidy hangs on dollar rates. Petrol price post subsidy hangs on dollar rates. CBN rate 400 naira per liter. The parallel market 600 naira. Competition consumer protection policy is seen as key, right? That's what you see on the front page of Business Day there. And then let's move to Nature News, which is the last one we're looking at. The federal government inaugurates 40-man panel to develop national wash policy. Federal government inaugurates 40-man panel to develop national wash policy. That's the Nature News, Veronica.
All right, Mike, let's look at this story on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. We're counting down to the inauguration, and the story here is focusing on the president-elect as he headhunts for the best brains, as it is written here, and competence for appointments. Recall that when the Buhari administration came in, it took him a while, I think about 6 months to get his cabinet together. And so a lot of Nigerians have been, speculating now, knowing the antecedent of the president-elect to headhunt best brains, competence. He has even said that the politics of ethnicity, religion is not coming to play when he is making his decisions with regards to that, and that he's looking at a government of competence, not a matter of national unity, as many have called. And we know that competence lies across regions.
You can find them anywhere.
You can find them anywhere. And so people have now begun to speculate that perhaps there might be a situation of rewarding some persons for their hard work leading up to the election. And over the years, there are names that have been mentioned. When you look at the papers, some names, you're seeing names like Sanusi Lamido, former CBN governor. We're also seeing Dele Alake being mentioned, a former commissioner in his tenure while he was, when the president-elect was governor of Lagos State. And we're also seeing Governor Nasir El-Rufai being also touted as being part of it. We also see Babatunde Fashola as also part of those who are being touted as well.
Yeah, the names you have mentioned and even much more are people who have had track records at the time they were given national assignments. However, the point there is the trust and the confidence Nigerians have in the president-elect is that he knows how to attract the best hands and the best brains.
Absolutely.
He knows how to do it. There are times, there are instances where, in fact, I recall that in Lagos, he brought in people from different parts of the country to be his either special advisor, commissioners, and all of that. We saw people from the southeast, we saw people from the north, we saw people from the north central, south becoming special advisors to him or commissioners under him, and so on. He knows how to get those. So the point there is that his administration was looking at those kind of brains. However, it is not to, because we also got reports that there could be some level of fresh faces coming on board.
Right.
Because some of the persons that you have mentioned, of course, they've had track record, they have capacity, they have been in the system, they've been in the system for some time. But the point there is, beyond those who have been doing it before, can we also give room for fresh people who have the capacity as well? If it means going to the US, going to UK, going to Ghana to bring back some Nigerians that have shown to the world that they have some capacity as well, bringing them on board to ensure that he begins to put a system that can sustain this competence track for a period of time. That is the kind of thing that Tinubu is known for. A system where by the time you have this person doing this and the person doing that, by the time this administration or this term ends, they will function in different, different capacities going forward. So we're going to certainly see a team that will hit the ground running from the first day. Recall that the President Buhari just signed into law one of the amendments that chief executives can no longer spend more than 60 days before they come up with the names of their cabinet, as the case may be. We're looking forward to a situation where there will also be a law to say on your day of inauguration, you should unveil your cabinet. Because if you, in fact, by the time you're contesting for election, you already have an idea of the persons you want to work with you. Then, besides that, from the day of the election to the day of inauguration is about 3 months. By that period of time, you have one election. Now you're sure you should be able to use that period of time to gather the team that you want to gather. However, the tricky part there is that now you are president. There are persons who helped you become president,
right?
Who worked hard for the victory that you have enjoyed, who may not necessarily
show competence.
So
how do you where do you keep them?
So
how do you settle them?
It becomes of course there are ways of settling people. Now the point there is there are some people who may not necessarily be the ones to be the ones holding the appointment, but they can recommend some one or two persons who can, as the case may be. It is also a way of settling people. Because if you say, okay, I should give you a list of 2 ministers or give you a list of because I have worked for you and now you're the chief executive and you say I should give you 2 names. Of course, if I have given you 2 names, then you have settled me one
Some
way or
persons
the
may
other.
not see it that way.
No, of course, those who are in politics understand the game. So it's not everybody that is going to be the political appointee or the political official, as the case may be. There are different ways of settling people. So they will have to balance that tricky part, because not everybody is actually going to agree that, okay, let me give you names of somebody, because I may not see myself as competent enough to be the political appointee. Some people don't see themselves like that. So everybody wants to be the one to be appointed. A lot of people want to be the ones to be appointed, They want to be the one on the limelight. They want to be the ones making headlines.
That's it.
That I was the one who was minister for this, or I was special advisor there, or I was DG for this, or I was head of parastatal, whatever the thing is. But the number of appointments before the president of Nigeria is a lot.
Of course.
There is no way the president of Nigeria, any president of Nigeria, can exhaustively get people to fill in posts that he is meant to, by law, appoint people into within the period of time that he's chief executive. He cannot know all of them. So he has to be able to rely on other people to make recommendations. That is where all of those kind of political appointees, people who have worked for the party, that is how they also come in to help fill in all of those places with the persons.
Then the matter of competence is questioned.
No, the point there is,
because these are the concerns that some Nigerians have.
But if you see it critically, the reality is that actually a lot of people can do a lot of things. However, the measurement will be you and I know how the issues of KPIs are done. And if you are rated based on KPIs, and you know that within this period of time, you're supposed to deliver on this and that and that, and somebody is monitoring you, somebody is supervising to ensure that you are delivering on those things that are those key performance indicators, then we're going to have some level of sanity within the system. But sometimes
the KPIs do not reflect your competence.
Of course, the point there is that the issue of KPI, everybody has a JD. A job description, as the case may be. And if you have your job description for you and everything is outlined, you understand, your supervisor understands, the system understands, then there shouldn't be a problem. And in fact, we should be looking forward to seeing how people can exceed the benchmark or the parameters that you have been measured.
Given to them as job description.
If I'm supposed to bring in, if for instance I'm a marketer and I'm supposed to bring in 100 million naira for the year. If I'm able to bring 110 million naira, then people should look forward to see how they can beat and surpass benchmarks that they've been given. It is on that ground that you're measured as an excellent person. And by the time you do that, you begin to see results from different places because people are watching. So that's what we expect in the next administration. We want to see how people are given roles and then they are also followed to the latter. And then you also hold people accountable by the fact that I told you to do this. Give me back the result. Give me the result of what I told you to do. Deliver on this and deliver on that. Because Nigerians are actually very desperate for a change right now.
Absolutely, and that takes me to the next point of the robustness of the cabinet. Because of the situation that we are seeing now, our fault lines being made clearer and deepened when we're looking at the gaps in the fault lines. How he will ensure there is this robustness where he picks, headhunts persons from across regions so as to foster that unity that we have been speaking about in Nigeria is also critical.
Well, the point there is it won't be a difficult thing to get those kind of people on board.
These are the conversations that Nigerians are having.
But beyond the issue of the persons who are going to be appointees, it is the action of what the government is doing, the programs that he's going to do. These are some of the things that will be pointers to that unity that we're talking about. Because there is a law, there's a federal character principle, which is a law in Nigeria.
But have we adhered to that?
Well, the point that's a different thing. But at least there's a law.
It's part of the conversation.
Yeah,
actually.
but the point there is that at least there must be a minister from every state of the federation. And we often abide. In fact, I think every administration has abided by that.
Really?
However, the issue of regions, balancing the regions and balancing the geopolitical zones in some what people call key appointments. That's what is different.
Why should it be different?
The point there is that there is no in the eyes of the law, all ministers are equal. But you and I know that some are key than others.
All right.
So the point there is, it now points to the interpretation that we add to some of these things. If a minister for petroleum, for instance, or minister for finance, or minister for works, if we see it as more juicy or more strategic than the minister for environment or for agriculture as the case, those are just our interpretations.
All right.
But in the eyes of the law, all ministers are equal. So the moment you are able to spread your appointment across all states, that's a perfect balance.
All right, let's look forward to the coming days,
No, of
how
course.
things will pan out.